A Step into the Past Volume 21 Chapter 9. Book 21 Chapter 9, Battle for Power. The sky is still lighted when the ships docked at Gu City Pier. A jubilant Fang Sheng is about to lead Xiang Xiaolong into the city for some entertainment when Zhang Chuan summoned, "Miss Feng needs the carriage. Prepare it now." Xiang Xiaolong was stunned. "Where is the carriage?" Zhang Chuan is displeased. "Are your eyes only good for looking at butts? Can't you see the carriage at the pier?" The words have barely left Xiang Xiaolong's mouth when he knew he is in for a scolding. The carriage may be transported in the other ship, but it has already been driven down to the pier. Xiang Xiaolong is overly anxious to escape and wasn't watching his words. Fang Sheng secretly nudged him and Xiang Xiaolong knowingly followed Fang Sheng down the gangplank, disembarking from the ship. He was in a state of confusion and out of a sudden, he was viciously pushed from behind. Before he could figure out what is happening, Xiang Xiaolong lost his balance and fell forward, knocking heavily into Fang Sheng. Both men staggered and half fell down the gangplank onto solid ground. If not for the railings at the side of the gangplank, they could have possibly fallen into the river. Xiang Xiaolong climbed back onto his feet while Fang Sheng is clutching his left with a contorted expression on his face. The pain is causing him to break into cold sweat. Loud laughter is heard from the ship. Gu Ming and the other chariot drivers were jeering and laughing at their misfortune. They were accompanied by a short but muscular strongman. Someone called out, "Shen Liang, I initially thought you are tall and well built, but today I finally realize you are just an empty vessel, a tool without a purpose. Just a small accidental bump from our brother Wu Sun is good enough to cause you to turn topsy-turvy. And I thought you are supposed to be an expert martial arts practitioner." Xiang Xiaolong recognized the speaker to be Fu Yan, one of Gu Ming's key confederates. Concurrently, he committed the family warrior Wu Sun's name to memory. Zhang Chuan appeared at the stern of the ship. He bellowed to Gu Ming and his gang, "What is going on?" Gu Ming casually replied, "If the two of them don't even know how to disembark a ship, it is no issue of mine." Following that, his group scampered down to the pier and fled into the distance. Zhang Chuan furiously glimpsed at the mud-ridden and disheveled Xiang Xiaolong before cursing, "Useless fellow." He turned around and disappeared. Xiang Xiaolong is genuinely angry now. He silently helped Fang Sheng up. The poor Fang Sheng is groaning, "My leg. I think it is broken." How Xiang Xiaolong wished he could give chase after Gu Ming and his gang, killing every single one of them to appease his anger. He apologized, "I have caused you misfortune." Fang Sheng bitterly smiled, "I guess they want to injure you and prevent you from driving the carriage. AI. Looks like our plans for tonight have to be cancelled." By now, several other troop workers have arrived at their position, assisting Xiang Xiaolong to move Fang Sheng back on the ship. Upon reaching the deck, a female voice rang out, "What the hell are you guys up to? How dare you block Miss Feng's path?" Xiao Xiaolong saw the danger and quickly lowered his head and bowed. At the same time, he moved Fang Sheng to the side. He stole a quick peep and saw a veiled Feng Fei standing right in front of him. Beside her is little Pinger, who is still dressed up as a boy. They are escorted by 4 other maids and about a dozen family warriors. The courtesan is assessing Xiang Xiaolong. Little Pinger, who has apparently failed to recognize Xiang Xiaolong, was incensed. "What has happened?" she demanded. Zhang Chuan and another man appeared out of nowhere, and before he could speak out, the handsome man beside him interjected, "It is just a small accident." He continued to face Xiang Xiaolong and berated, "You are the newcomer, right? Useless bum. Shouldn't you be going to your carriage now? Do you expect headmistress, Feng Fei, to wait for you instead?" Hearing his sarcastic scolding, implying that Zhang Chuan is incompetent, Zhang Quan's face darkened. At this moment, Feng Fei's angelic voice sang out from beneath the veil, "Assistant Manager S.A." Her voice carried some hints of disdain. Having accomplished his goal, a smug S.A. Li kept quiet. Feng Fei shot a look at Xiang Xiaolong and plainly ordered, "Be more careful next time. Send Fang Sheng back into the room before coming to the carriage." Xiang Xiaolong was extremely relieved that neither the mistress nor her maid could pinpoint his real identity. Watching her descend down the gangplank and supported by her companions, Xiang Xiaolong can only force out a miserable sigh. He can no longer slip off just like that. Moreover, he felt an obligation to take care of Fang Sheng until he has fully recovered. This is one of his life-guiding principles. Unknowingly, it began snowing again. Reflected by the strong rays of the setting sun, the small flakes seemed to dance freely in the air before reluctantly landing on the ground, finishing a short but mesmerizing journey. Time seems to have slowed down and the land purified with every layer of snow. Xiang Xiaolong directed the horses and began chauffeuring the beauty. 4 family warriors are in front paving a way for the carriage to pass through. Another 8 family warriors are following the carriage. Wei's assistant commanding General Ao Xiang brought a dozen of his best soldiers and they flanked the carriage on both sides, showcasing the importance of Feng Fei's stature in the eyes of all the political leaders. She is akin to a 21st century superstar celebrity with popular hit songs, unlike the typical courtesan who prostitute herself under the guise of entertainment. Even without the burden of Fang Sheng, Xiang Xiaolong will find it challenging to flee under the heavy escort. Escape is still conceivable, but it will raise Ao Xiang's suspicions. Fortunately, Ao Xiang regarded Xiang Xiaolong as Feng Fei's long-serving carriage driver and did not have the slightest suspicion about him. Meanwhile, Xiang Xiaolong has no idea where he is and is blindly driving in the direction of the family warriors ahead of him. With the hoofbeats sounding in the background, the carriage entourage eventually approached a snow-clad city without much incident. Most of the shops are open for business and judging from the signboards, most of the businesses are involved in carpentry, sewing, fabrics, and embroidery. Xiang Xiaolong may not have any deep understanding of culture and based on his keen observation skills, he can tell that compared to all the cities he has been to, Gu City has a remarkably cultural and retro aura. In this instant, Ao Xiang rode towards the side of the carriage and lowered his head, striking a conversation with Feng Fei. In the past, when Jing's annihilated state, Han Xuanzi came to the state of Lu, annihilated state, he came across Chancellor Lu's secret literature collection. He sighed that all of Zhou's literature is in Lu. Now that Miss Feng Fei is back here again, I am sure you must be feeling emotional. Xiang Xiaolong shuddered. So this was originally the state of Lu, which belongs to the state of Wei now. Even the great Confucius was born here. It is no wonder why this state has such a strong arts culture. Feng Fei sighed slowly and in a pained tone, yes. It is all because of this incident. If we, the citizens of Lu, are not overly stubborn and traditional, placing too much importance on the conservative ways, we may not be controlled first by Qi, state, then by Wu, state, followed by Yu. Yu was eventually annihilated by Wei, explains Ji Yanran originally in Wei. Although we have the honor of being named, the clan of saints, we are eventually an annihilated state. General Ao is giving us too much credit. Xiang Xiaolong detected the melancholy in her voice and can feel his own emotions surging. Theoretically, Feng Fei is not a Song princess but a Lu princess. Nonetheless, Lu and Song are neighboring states and she may be connected to both states. Ao Xiang's flattery has backfired and after a few awkward exchanges, he resumed his riding position after noticing Feng Fei's lack of interest in chatting with him. The entourage traveled along a winding path, deviating gradually from the main road. Consequently, they were headed towards a desolate area west of the city. Under the illumination of the lanterns, the flying snow and strong wind resembles a scene from Never-Ending Dream. Xiang Xiaolong can comprehend the agony of the beauty behind him. When Xiaopan eventually unites the states, Ao Xiang and everybody else will become citizens of annihilated states. Such a feeling is hard to fathom. The sunset is beautiful but it only lasts for a fleeting moment. This can be the autobiography of the 6 states right now. The carriages drove through a sparse forest and halted near a mausoleum. Xiang Xiaolong finally realized that Feng Fei is here to pay her respects to her ancestors. Feng Fei and everyone alighted from their carriages. Accompanied by Ao Xiang, they walked towards the mausoleum and disappeared behind the trees. Xiang Xiaolong, the family warriors and the Wei soldiers stayed with the carriages. Momentarily, sounds of crying can be heard. Upon their return, little Pinger and the maid's pretty eyes were all red and swollen. The exception was Feng Fei's, as she is hiding behind the veil. It was deep into the night when everyone boarded the ship. Everyone including Gu Ming had gone into the city for a wild night of partying. Only an incensed Fang Sheng remained behind. Xiang Xiaolong noticed that his left foot is bandaged clumsily with a few pieces of cloth. He inquired, "How is it?" Fang Sheng's eyes reddened. "If not for my leg injury, I would have fought it out with them." Xiang Xiaolong has been trained in basic bone fixing skills and opened up the bandages. Feeling the leg bone structures, he heaved a sigh of relief. It is simply a bone that has been displaced. "Come. Bear with it for a while." Before Fang Sheng yelled out in pain and his eye sockets are swelled up with tears, Xiang Xiaolong had swiftly fixed the joint dislocation. Fang Sheng tried taking a couple of steps and is amazed. "Brother Shen, this is miraculous." Xiang Xiaolong patted the chair beside him and smiled. "Please sit down, I have something to tell Brother Fang." Fang Sheng's mood has greatly improved for the better. Pleased, he sat down and invited, "Brother Shen, please speak your mind." Xiang Xiaolong extracted the 2 gold ingots from his bosom. Placing them on his open palm, he presented them before Fang Sheng's eyes. Feng Sheng's eyes grew as big as saucers. He let out a loud gasp. "Heavens! This is pure gold." 2 simple gold ingots are more than sufficient for an ordinary man to live without worries for the rest of his life. Xiang Xiaolong pressed the gold ingots into his hands and whispered, "They are yours now." Fang Sheng hesitated for a while and shook his head. "How can I take Brother Shen's gold?" Xiang Xiaolong lied, "I have several more pieces of gold. They were bestowed to me when Prince Wuji knows that he would be sentenced to death soon. Brother Fang, please accept them and use the excuse of your broken leg to leave this malicious place, fulfilling your dream." Holding the gold ingots tightly in his hands, Fang Sheng is curious. "Brother Shen is not lacking in wealth, why did you choose to lead the life of a carriage driver?" Xiang Xiaolong continued his bluff. "Honestly speaking, I am making use of this job to leave Daliang, Wei capital. Ever since the death of Prince Wuji, no one dares to employ his ex-family warriors like us. I am not going to live my life without making my mark somewhere. I am therefore heading to Qi to try my luck." Fang Sheng is so touched he began to tear again. "I am beyond gratitude. With this 2 pieces of gold and my savings over the past 2 years, I can finally resign from Miss Feng Fei, tomorrow." After some thought, he added, "Why don't we leave together? Sa Li is awfully narrow-minded and he will never let you off. Zhang Chuan is only making use of you, and even if you died fighting for him, he will not even feel the least bit of sadness." Xiang Xiaolong smiled. "After Brother Fang is gone, I will have no more reservations. Our fall will not be in vain." Fang Sheng fell into a daze. In this instant, he felt like Xiang Xiaolong is much more than who he truly is. Fang Sheng could not hold back his plans, and right that evening, he approached Zhang Chuan, asking to leave the troop because of his leg injury. Zhang Chuan showed no signs of asking him to stay on. On the pretext that he is resigning instead of troop disbandment, he paid Fang Sheng a few miserable bronze coins and commanded him to leave the ship early next morning. An upset Fang Sheng confided in Xiang Xiaolong about this issue. Originally, he can still be entitled to a generous dismissal fee for his years with the troop. Needless to say, Zhang Chuan has pocketed most of it. Ultimately, he is not overly concerned about this discrepancy because the 2 gold ingots are enough to satisfy all his needs. The next morning, Xiang Xiaolong sent Fang Sheng off the ship. While he was hesitating to leave with him, Gu Ming and his gang happened to return to the ship. Mocking them again for their incompetence, Gu Ming and his gang boarded the ship. With Wei soldiers swarming all over the pier and Zhang Chuan staring at them from the ship, Xiang Xiaolong suppressed the urge to retaliate. He calmly bade farewell to Fang Sheng and returned to the ship. The ships began sailing. Xiang Xiaolong can sense his fellow workers and drivers are shying from him as if he is carrying a contagious disease. No one wants to converse with him and even Zhang Quan's followers are treating him like trash. He was greatly humored. Obtaining his breakfast, he hid in a corner of the ship's stern and began eating. Inside his mind, he was churning ideas on how to create a big hoo-ha, forcing Feng Fei to dismiss him. He can then swagger off to freedom without raising any suspicions. However, timing is critical to his plans. Ideally, it should happen before the next stop when the ships dock to replenish their food and water supplies. He can then leave the ship both mentally and physically. In the beginning, Xiang Xiaolong was feeling guilty over snatching the original Shen Liang's employment. Now, he felt that he was helping him to avoid a calamity instead. Gu Ming and his collaborators are likely to have been ordered by S.A. Li to get rid of himself at all costs. That S.A. Li is rather good-looking and could be using this natural advantage to start a relationship with one of the more influential serving maids. With his increase in influence, he could be conspiring to take over Zhang Quan's job. Lost in his thoughts, a small pair of shoes suddenly appeared before his eyes. Xiang Xiaolong looked up in panic but his view is blocked by two huge and jutting breasts. In that second, he still has no idea who is this person in front of him. Taken aback, he got on his feet and found out the lady is actually Sister Ling, the attractive serving maid of second mistress Dong Shuzhen. Stifling her laughter and after glancing twice at him, Sister Ling coldly hissed, "Are you the troublemaker Shen Liang?" Xiang Xiaolong has already made up his mind to leave the ship and doesn't bother to give her any leeway. Assuming a domineering stance, he joked back, "Sister Ling gives me too much credit. Without any supporters, how much trouble can I create?" Never in her wildest dreams would Sister Ling expect Xiang Xiaolong to be so rebellious and talked back to her. Her expression changed color instantaneously and she scolded, "How dare you? Do you know who you are speaking to?" Folding his arms across his chest, Xiang Xiaolong uttered to nobody in particular, "Every nation has its laws. Every household has its rules. However, some principles are ever-encompassing. I am a lone ranger whereas other people are forming cliques and gangs. Sister Ling, why don't you judge from your own conscience who has the potential to be the troublemaker around here?" Sister Ling is dumbfounded. During a debate, she is light years away from Xiang Xiaolong who is used to complex court arguments. Her face turned red in anger, she stared at him for a before her arms went into a kimbo position. She screeched, "Are you tired of your job?" Xiang Xiaolong leisurely responded, "Isn't this up to Manager Zhang or Miss Feng?" Sister Ling is often the one doing the scolding. Now that she has been put down badly by a lowly driver like Xiang Xiaolong, she is as mad as a bull and stomped off. Xiang Xiaolong watched as she stomped over to the other side where Gu Ming and his guys were and summoned Gu Mong into the ship's cabin. Acknowledging that a good show is about to start, Xiang Xiaolong smiled to himself. He turned to view the beautiful snow scenery on the both sides of the shore. He is certain that S.A. Li has hooked up with the alluring serving maid Sister Ling. He may even enjoy the support of the second-in-command Dong Shuzhen to openly challenge Zhang Quan's authority. Just as he was pondering which route to travel back to Qin, someone tapped his shoulder. Xiang Xiaolong turned his head and a family warrior entered his view. He is one of those who participated in escorting Feng Fei last night for her prayers. The family warrior commanded, "Master Zhang wants to see you." Xiang Xiaolong noticed that the family warrior dared not look at him straight into his eyes while talking. Easily predicting the situation, he smiled back, "May I know how do I address brother?" The man answered, "I am Su Ran. Come with me." Xiang Xiaolong can feel his adrenaline rushing and his limbs itching for some action. He followed Su Ran into the cabins.